Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I am your host, Mike Veerman, and I am here with my friend and trusty producer, Max Kerman. Max, what's going on?
Well, this is actually an emergency podcast.
It's an emergency?
Yeah, we were going to take this week off, and I don't know when this will run, but the last time I saw you, Mike, you weren't engaged to your girlfriend, Danika.
That's true.
And now I find out over the weekend that you are engaged to Danika. And I said to you, Mike, we should talk about this on the podcast because it could be great. And, I love hearing the stories about people getting engaged.
This is a thing for you.
This is. It's weird because I don't even really like the idea of my friends getting married. It's so, because I don't like the idea of a new chapter beginning. I kind of like the sweet spot my friends and I are in right now.
We're in a good pocket.
We're in a great pocket. And then when they, for instance, when I lived with my old roommates, Julian and Jug, and they announced to me that they're both moving out to live with their girlfriends.
Yeah.
It kind of broke my heart. And both those guys are both married now.
That's true.
And then when people get married, that means they'll probably have kids, which means they won't be around as much, which makes me sad, even though it should be a beautiful thing. I'm not happy about it at all.
Max, this is the holiday podcast.
I know.
And now you're making me want to cry.
But I'm going somewhere with this. So, okay. But I do like engagement stories, though. It's weird. Like I like hearing about the thought process that goes into the engagement. I don't know, how you did it or when you thought of doing it. Give us a little. Give me the story.
Well, I don't feel bad. I didn't tell anybody besides my brother.
Oh, so Greg knew. And Greg
knew.
Is my roommate.
Yes.
So Greg didn't spill the beans. You'll be happy to know because he's typically a gossipy little boy.
He's a big gossip, Greg.
Yeah.
I gave him the stern talking to.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had to tell Greg. Essentially, Greg and I share a car in Hamilton, and I was going up to ask Danika's father for permission to marry his daughter. I wanted to.
You did the formal thing.
I was going to be traditional. You know me, Max. I'm an old traditional guy.
Yeah, you're an old-fashioned guy.
So it's like a Sunday, and I had this whole plan to go up there because I knew Danika was doing some like volunteer gift wrapping at the mall. So I'm like,
That's the kind of girl she is.
Oh, she's fantastic. Yeah. I'm like, I got this whole plan to sneak up on the Sunday. I know she's off doing her thing. I can hang out with the dad. I can ask him. I'm in the car with my brother. And I'm like, hey, I need the car tomorrow because I know I'm going up to Danika's dad's to like ask him for this whole thing, Yeah. And Greg's like, I got hockey. I told you that. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I need the car at like 1. What time do you have hockey? He's like, goes till 12, but I might have a beer after with the guys. I'm like, all right. But I'm like, you think you get it back to me by 1? He's like, I don't know. I told you. Is it really that important? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he's basically forcing my hand. I'm going to have to tell him. And he's just driving, like, just
driving. Listening to the Weezer album.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just sort of like, so I kind of take a breath and I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell you something. Mm-hmm. But you can't say anything and you got to keep it to yourself, man, because it's like a really big deal. And I know you like to gossip. And then he kind of got like nervous. He's like, oh, Jesus, what's he going to tell me?
Mm-hmm. If someone told me that, I'd get nervous.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is.
Totally. I want him to know I meant business, though. I needed this to be top secret. Yeah. So I say to Greg, I'm going to ask Danika to marry me, and I basically need the car tomorrow because I'm going to go talk to her dad and, ask for his permission. Mm-hmm. Is it called permission?
I think so. Ask for his daughter's hands. I think you asked permission. I think it's asking permission. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. But to answer your question, I'd been thinking about it for a long time. As you know, Danika and I have been on and off for many years.
Yeah, like 10 years or something.
Almost a decade.
Yeah.
But, these last, there was 2 years where we were sort of apart until recently. In this last year, we came back together. And, everything just felt so serendipitous. And you're like, you are what has been missing from my life. And I was like, Danika, you're too kind. No, I'm kidding. That's what I said to her. And so ultimately, I've been thinking about this for a significant amount of time since we've been back together.
Yeah. And you're also confident that there's, love of your life. It's like, if I'm not with you, I'm going to be in my underwear by myself for the rest of my life kind of thing.
Which I was kind of resigned to until we got back together, to be completely honest.
This is not so bad. I got league pass.
So, yeah, but, like you said, she is the love of my life. I indisputably know that I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Mm-hmm. So even though I've not traditionally been someone that's like, oh, I want to get married, I'm like, well, hey, I want to spend the rest of my life with her.
Hold on, you're skipping over the conversation with her dad.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, that's a totally intriguing part of this whole equation.
So I was very nervous.
Describe her dad a little bit.
Owen's like
He's sort of like a good-looking Dutch man in his 50s, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's like
He's a self-made man too.
absolutely.
He had the daughters when he was kind of young, and
Yeah.
but he raised this amazing, beautiful family.
Yeah.
How have you guys get along pretty well?
We get along. I mean, we're very different. You know, I'm kind of goofy and like making the jokes and creative.
And you're down to working downtown Toronto.
Yeah,
you know, in this writing job, and he's
Exactly.
you know, the Hamilton suburbs family man kind of thing.
Absolutely. But he's you know, when you get to know him though, he's very like, he can be funny and throw out the jokes too, but he can also be pretty intimidating. You know what I mean? Because he could be very no nonsense when he wants to be. So I go up. I'm nervous about the whole thing. I get in there. I'm kind of like making small talk. We sit down at the dining room table. And you know how like you get to a point with small talk where you're not really making. I was just kind of meandering because I was kind of like, how do I transition into the big topic? Which I want.
Your brain's in another place.
Exactly. So we sit down. I'm like, all right. I'm like, the reason I came here today, and then I laid it out. You know, your daughter's the love of my life. I would really like to, you know,
Make an honest woman out of her.
yes, finally. And I was like, you know, I would like to ask you for your permission to, you know, have your daughter's hand in marriage. And he was like, he had a big smile on his face, and then like I got kind of emotional, and then he like shook my hand. He's like, and we had like a man hug.
A man hug, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a man hug, and
Nice.
you know he's like a big guy, so I was kind of enveloped in him. I just kind of nuzzled in, you know, my future father-in-law.
I love you, Dad.
Yeah, Daddy. So yeah, and then he actually said one thing that I thought was kind of sweet and empathetic, and you know, like I said, Dan and I have been on and off for a long time. And I said, you know, I'm so enthusiastic, and I just, you know, I want to provide for her and make this great life with Danika going forward and get married. I'm like, I probably should have done it sooner. Wondering, you know, him as her dad, maybe he's thought that. So I was kind of trying to be like, you know, I acknowledge maybe I've been kind of, you know, dicking around for a decade.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, shit takes time. It was really a really nice moment. And I was like,
so nice.
oh, what a sweetheart.
Let's bring it to, I'm getting a little water here. That's
Yeah.
so nice. What a thing to say.
Yeah, so that went really well.
So you're feeling good.
I'm feeling good. I still don't know when I'm going to do it. I'm kind of like, all right, when am I going to pop the question?
Yeah.
How am I going to do this? I don't know how long I can leave Greg with this information.
Yeah. Loose lips, Greg.
Loose lips, Greggy. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I don't want to do it on like Christmas Day because me proposing shouldn't be a present to you. I'm not giving you the gift of me in marriage. If anything, I'm like a net loss. Like it's like you're taking me on. I feel bad for you. So I'm like,
So that was a Sunday.
that was a Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing this by the Wednesday. It's locked in. We'd had like a kind of like a date night dinner thing planned anyway.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go. I'll buy all the food and everything that we want from, you know, Loblaws. I'll cook it. You just come home from work. It will be ready. She's like, oh, that's really sweet. Thanks. She didn't know I was going to hit her with the old 1-2 punch. So
The old 1-2 punch.
I skip out of work at like 1. I tell Randall because obviously he knows.
He knows.
I start tooling around. I got this whole thing planned. I grab like rose petals. I grab like 50 candles.
Oh, have you bought the ring?
Well, no, here's the thing.
Okay, sorry.
So in the past when we've talked, I should probably say this. As far as the ring goes, I'm no jeweler, Max. I wear no jewelry. I don't wear a watch. I don't wear necklaces. I don't even, there's certain things that I don't pay attention to, and the intricacies of jewelry or what makes something a nice ring or a nice necklace.
You have no clue.
I don't know. Yeah. The thing that it was is I think that she thought that, you know, because as adults now that have been together a long time, it was like we'd be more sort of, let's just talk about it and let's just do it. But I kind of, you know, I'm an old romantic a little bit, so I kind of wanted to spring a surprise on her, but I also didn't want to present some disgusting looking ring, you know what I mean? So what I did was I booked a trip to New York City because she has this jeweler that she loves in New York. So I booked the trip to New York City, and I'm like, I'm going to propose with the trip to New York City.
Oh,
This is
that's
my
so
plan.
smart.
So that's my plan.
So, okay.
So book the trip on Monday. I get the thumbs up from her dad on the Sunday.
Yeah.
I booked the trip to New York City on the Monday. By Wednesday, when I'm supposed to be getting like, you know, the food and all that stuff, I'm buying her favorite wine. I'm buying rose petals from Michael's because I want it to be kind of like, even though it's a little cheesy, there's something funny and memorable about it. I alter the whole apartment. Like I get all the curtains closed. I light like 50 candles. I'm terrified I'm going to start an apartment fire. I buy these little bow ties for the cats.
You have 2 cats.
I have 2 cats. They were wearing hilarious bow ties.
That is funny.
I will show you the photos off thing.
Okay.
So I'm sitting here. I make like a playlist. Like I download all these songs that we've like loved for the last like 10 years. You know what I mean? There's some Jack Johnson in there, Better Together. Some
Banana pancakes.
yeah, oh, you know it. Actually, that one didn't make the cut, but it is a good one.
Jack Johnson.
Yeah, and like some good old school No Doubt.
Yeah.
Some Ed Sheeran, some Taylor Swift, classic stuff, but like beautiful songs that we've both sort of enjoyed throughout the years. So I get dressed up because hell, the cats are in bow ties, so I got to get dressed up too. All the lights are out, the candles are just like flowing,
great.
And I've got the speaker just ready to play the song. So I've made this playlist, right? But I don't want the music to be playing as she walks up to the apartment because she's going to hear.
Yeah.
And I never like listening to music in the
Why is
apartment.
Mike jamming out to Ed Sheeran right now?
Exactly. So I'm sitting here with a bottle of wine. I cracked it because I needed a drink. You know, I was about to ask her to marry me.
Loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, so I had a glass of wine. She opens the door. It's all dark in here. She's like, what the hell? What's going on? Little Rafa, our youngest cat, walks up in his bow tie. He looks like a little butler.
You taught him to do that. When Danika comes in, walk up to her in your boat.
They just do it anyway.
Yeah.
They love her. Side note, when she comes home from work, she'll go, hey guys, and they'll go, meow, meow. I come home, I'm like, hey buddies, and they both just stare and then walk away uninterested. They make no audible noise for me, yet they do for her every time without fail. So she comes in, little Rafa goes up with his bow tie, starts making some noises. Dutch comes out of the room, so now she's got both guys. She's like, what's going on? She's kind of trying to put it together. I hit the old Jack Johnson. That's right, boy. I am a producer. So I got this whole thing. It's going. I got the rose petals. She's like, oh my goodness. I'm like, come in here. I want to have a talk with you. Like, come in. And I'm sitting here all dressed up, like on the couch with the candles.
What were you
going.
wearing exactly? A suit?
Yeah, like black pants, black. I didn't wear a suit, and I was gonna wear a bow tie to match the cats, but then I was like a little too much. You know?
Yeah.
So I just wore like a nice like black fitted like dress shirt, and black pants. I didn't put on a blazer.
Sure.
That'll be for the wedding. So she comes in, and I laid it all on the line, and
Was she crying?
We were both crying.
Ah, that's so nice.
Yeah. Me, tears of joy. Her, tears of
What have I done?
Yeah. Of fear. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. She was sweet. It was all very, very, very sweet. I got down on one knee too.
You did the one knee. That's the other question I always ask.
Yeah, I did.
Did you do the one knee?
Well, it's funny though because from playing basketball, I feel like I have like these shin splints, so it actually hurts me to like be on my knees.
Oh yeah, I have Oscar Schlatter's syndrome or something.
Oh, is that what it is? Where the bone pops out
Yeah.
under your knee?
Yeah.
So it hurts to be down on your knee like
You're like,
that.
give me an answer quick.
Yes, it hurt physically and metaphorically to get down on my knee and beg her to marry me. No, it was really sweet. It was awesome.
This is why I love hearing a good proposal story because all those details are amazing, and I love being walked through the whole process. It's did you like when you got on your knee?
Yeah.
Did you like hand her 2 tickets to New York, or did you just hold her hand?
I just held her hand in mine. Very gently.
Very gently.
Yet firm.
Yeah.
I wanted her to know what the future was going to be like with me.
Gentle but firm.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. That's great.
Why don't you